Good Wednesday evening, and welcome to This and That, the podcast. I'm your host, Joe Gilloway, and along with my partner, Bill Bostic, we hope to bring you guests and topics you'll find both fun and captivating from the worlds of local politics, arts and leisure, pop culture, and beyond. Hi, Bill. How are you?
Doing fine, Joe. Looking forward to another great show. We've had a series of them, and I think this will be another one.
I believe it's going to be hopefully both fun and captivating.
Yeah.
That's the goal. That's the ultimate goal. So let's
Yeah.
talk about who our sponsors are for This and That, the podcast. They are the American Legion Post 272, aka the Linglestown American Legion on North Mountain Road, Rickaba's Electric, and Team PA AAU basketball. Thanks to these great local businesses for their continued support of our little podcast. Bill, what episode number is this? We're going to do this until we start getting it right. Okay.
28.
You got it, buddy. A couple more right answers and we might stop altogether. But no, you know what? I like to talk about it because it's a testament that we've stuck around for a while.
Yeah.
26 weeks is half a year, and we have eclipsed the half year point. So that's great. And once again, and I'm going to remind everybody that this is the People's Podcast. And it is the People's Podcast because we try to involve the people, the viewers, the community members, whoever wants to come in and kind of make a comment or ask a question of our guests. As long as they keep it clean, keep it respectful. We try to answer, and we really do try to answer as many questions or read as many comments as possible. So our disclaimer for This and That, the podcast, is the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the participants who voice them and do not necessarily reflect the positions held by This and That, the podcast, as an entity, Bill or myself, or the sponsors who support the show. And Bill, we have a lot upcoming here, buddy. I want to throw this up there because these are our upcoming booked guests. We have dates for these folks.
Okay.
And let me see something here. Oh, here's our upcoming guest list. This Monday, we have this one in between. We normally do these shows on Wednesday or Thursday, but we're excited to welcome in Lower Paxton Township Supervisor. We call him John Najim. I think it's Jim.
I think that's, Gene.
Yeah.
Gene.
He is a current supervisor, and he's running to retain his seat. So looking forward to speaking with John about what's going on with him and his campaign, and hopefully some things about what's current in the township. And he's a nice guy, and we look forward to having him on. And then a week from tonight, Wednesday, the 29th, Bill, that man in the middle there is Dauphin County Commissioner Justin Douglas. And you booked Justin Douglas. Do you want to give us just a bullet point about him?
Well, he's come in. He's in his second year now, and has already elevated himself to being the chairman as things worked out. Yep. So he's the go-to guy on the commissioner's board, and has just recently decided to run for Congress in the 10th congressional district. The seat now held by Scott Perry out of York County. So
he'd be running against Janelle Stelson, right, in the primary.
Yeah, in the primary. Those two seem to be I think it's still too early to actually file, and
right.
But yeah, those two seem to be the only two running on the Democratic side.
Right. Okay. And then you also booked Justin McShane. He is more than just a superb local attorney. What else does Justin McShane do?
Yeah, he's into boxing. He's into he's a pilot trying to get his commercial license. He's a father, husband. I mean, he's all around guy, and seems to be. I think I'm really excited to see him because I met him years and years ago. He was actually, for I think one term, a Central Dauphin School Board member. That's where I first met him. So it'd be nice to get an update on Justin McShane.
Are you trying to be apolitical here, or did you just forget to mention that his wife is running for Dauphin County judge?
We're focused on Justin, but
I know.
His wife is working very hard to be a Dauphin County judge.
That's your Katie. What is it? Katie Kennedy McShane.
Yeah. A lot of signs out there for her.
Yes. And then here's who we're sourcing. I have quite an extensive list, but working on, I want to get Patty Kim on this show. I like Patty Kim. I think she's a true public servant. I think she goes about things the right way. Eric Epstein, I'm sorry. Eric, I know Eric's not listening, but I still apologize. It's Eric Epstein. And Eric Epstein is kind of one of those extraordinary guys. He does a lot of different things. He currently sits on the Central Dauphin School District Board, but, again, it's just a really vast resume over the past 3 or 4 decades or more. Dr. Bob Lombardi, he is the current PIAA executive director. He stepped down. I think he's got just till the end of this month, but this is an interesting guy, had a real important position for the last 13 years. So Dr. Bob Lombardi from PIAA, Justin Fleming, who's a Pennsylvania state rep. So he already told us he'd come on. Tom Russell. How about Tom Russell? Meteorologist Tom Russell. He's an MC on his own time. He hosts galas and stuff like that. Does a fabulous job. Michael Gossert, and he's the new Lower Paxton Township manager. And then Bill Kiesling. Bill, I don't know if you're familiar with Bill Kiesling. He's a local writer. Went to Susquehanna Township and graduated probably in the 70s, I think. But he's wrote a lot of true crime stuff. This guy, I read a couple of his books. Sins of Our Fathers. He wrote The Midnight Ride of Jonathan Luna, who was I think it was a DA up in Center County. They found his body on a side of a creek or something.
Yeah, they actually found his computer in the creek.
Okay, all right. And then he wrote a book. Go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this man is still not. They really don't know if he's
right
alive or dead. But it's gone a long time that he has not been found.
And then The Sins of Our Fathers is about that situation involving William T. Smith. What do they call that? The CTA scandal, where the treasurer ended up committing suicide on what's his name? I'm sorry.
I'm not familiar with that.
Oh gosh, Robert Buddwyer.
Buddwyer, okay.
So he wrote the book on that. Bill Kiesling did, and then The Wrong Car: The Death of Lily Bell Allen. So that's just 3 of many. He's working on a book now, and he said he'll free up some time for us once he's done working on the book. So we kind of dragged this out. We have a big show tonight. We're going to bring in Dr. Tamara Willis, and she's got some friends with her, some cohorts, some people that she works with and around, and we're going to introduce them momentarily. And then, how about this late ad? What a great late ad, Bill. You're doing your job. Yeah. Dave Doyle, Lower Paxton Township Historical Commission Chair. And we're going to talk about the Gilchrist House, otherwise known as Fort Gilchrist on Linglestown Road, which some people are aware of it and others aren't. There are people that have driven by this thing hundreds of times. They have no clue what it is or where it is. So anything from you, Bill, before we bring our friends in?
No, I did have a chance to meet with Representative Joe Kerwin, who represents the Linglestown area of Lower Paxton Township. So he's willing to come on after the state budget gets resolved.
We don't have enough days in the week or days in the month. This is starting to heat up a little bit. We got a lot of people, more guests than days available. So let's bring them in here.
All right.
There's Dr. Tamara Willis.
Hello.
And let me make sure I get this right. Kathy Chuli. All
Perfect.
right. And Dr. Willis, of course, is the Susquehanna Township School District Superintendent.
Yes.
Kathy is the Susquehanna Township School District Business Manager. I'm sorry.
We have Dr. Martin here too.
And I'm bringing him in right now. And there's Dr. Andre Martin, and he's the Assistant Superintendent. So welcome to you all. This is exciting to have you all here. And this is kind of a follow-up show. Dr. Willis was on, I don't know, months ago. It was a while back. And we had a great episode. That was one of our fledgling episodes. So thank you for helping us get some wind under our sails there, Dr. Willis. You were one of our opening guests. So we appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I promised you that I'd have you back on, and I didn't forget. So
man of your word. Yes.
Yeah, man of my word. So we're here to, I'd say, primarily talk about, there's a referendum in the upcoming election, and let me back up a little bit. I think, and word is, a lot of people think that the school district, Susquehanna Township School District, is in need of a new building. Okay. Let's just forget about what I think. Tell us why Susquehanna Township, Dr. Willis, is in need of a new building?
So we've shared this over the last 6 or 7 months now. We have experienced record enrollment. The Susquehanna Township School District right now has the highest enrollment it has ever had in the history of the district, and at least the recorded history. And so we have over 500 new students. There is development that's coming to the township that is going to potentially increase that number of students in the foreseeable future. And we need another school. The district has not built a school in almost 60 years.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. And none of our buildings were ever built to last forever. And so we are overcrowded. We have trailers, and we need another school.
Okay.
Did you say 60, 660?
60, yes.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It's a long time.
Yeah, so it's not like you guys are building schools left and right, huh?
No,
Okay.
no.
The only thing you added was trailers somewhere, right? So or
That-
whatever you call them.
correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So right now, and I remember when I was a child, I had friends that went to Harrisburg schools, and they had to learn in trailers, and nobody liked it. Okay,
No.
they just weren't climate controlled well. They just didn't look like classrooms. They just didn't feel like classrooms.
Mhm.
You want to feel like, just like if you go to a job every day, you want to feel like that's kind of a home away from home. Your cubicle,
Absolutely.
your office. And I think a student wants to feel the same way when they go to school. Like that's their home away from home for 6 or 7 hours. Is that correct? Do I have that right?
Absolutely. But you are correct. And I'm just going to ask Dr. Martin to hop in and just talk about that we do have trailers for some of our children, but there's also impact inside of our buildings because of the overcrowding.
Okay, let's bring Dr. Martin in.
Share that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just speaking on what you're saying, like a home away from home, being able to have that applicable space to just feel not squeezed in.
Mhm.
We have a lot of makeshift classrooms and makeshift learning areas throughout our hallways, throughout our potentially what could be like common learning areas that we do not have. We're utilizing them for actual instruction for teaching staff that we just don't have place to put them in offices or classrooms. So yes, we do have enough classrooms for everybody with the modulars, but you also want to have additional spaces that learners can go for small group instruction, lessons, intervention, and things of that nature. So we're pretty much booked all throughout not only our classrooms, but also throughout our hallways and things of that nature as well.
Okay. Now I did some research, and I see that you want to build an intermediate elementary school. Is that correct? Now,
Yes. Grades 4 through 6.
that's the higher elementary school grades. Okay,
Correct.
I never had heard of that, so I'm glad I got to learn something here. And then the K through third grade, they would stay in the current schools. Is that correct?
We would essentially be able to move one grade level out of our existing buildings. So our K2 building would become a K1, and our 3-5 building would become a 2-3. So we would basically have 2 grades in each of our buildings. And then this will give us room to grow into the foreseeable future. So we won't expect to build another school in another 10 years or so.
Okay. And
Right.
then you already have the land. Talk about
We
the
do.
land, how you got the land and where it is.
Our land is located on Stanley Drive. It is in the Edgemont community, right on the edge of Arsenal Boulevard.
Okay.
And we were able to purchase that property from the Harrisburg School District, but it sits in Susquehanna Township.
That's where when I said I had friends that went to Harrisburg School District, that's where those, what do you call them again?
The trailers, yeah.
Okay,
They're
I call them
modular classrooms, but
trailers too.
essentially they're trailer yeah.
I call them
Yeah.
trailers too. So yeah, that's where these friends of mine went to school, right in that land,
Right.
that property there.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
that's-
eventually they built a middle school there. It was actually my middle school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if anybody's unaware, that's on what they call the bypass. They also call that the bypass.
Yep.
And it's kind of across the street from, this is for the old heads, where the Maverick Steakhouse used to be.
Yep.
Many years. That was one of the top restaurants. So I'm just trying to give everybody
Yep.
an
Right
idea.
behind the police department. There's some cars over there. Yep. Police cars.
Where I got took my driver's test.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy, those are memories. I remember that.
So that's a nice area. It's easy to get the buses in and out of there, or
Yep.
it would be, easy for parents to get in and out, and everybody. So, Bill, do you want to jump in? Do you have anything that you want to?
Well, I just wanted to get an update. I think at one time I covered a few Susquehanna Township meetings, not the school board, but the meetings of the township. And the mayor at the time, the man who has the bookstore, Midtown Books, whatever it's called, he was at that meeting talking about getting some sort of compost facility or some environmental thing going on.
Yes.
Did that ever go through?
It did not. There is a
Okay.
deed restriction on that property. It can only be used for educational purposes.
Okay.
So one of the reasons we were able to purchase it is because it can't hold anything else. So there is no fear that we will put a strip mall on it down the road. It can only be used for educational purposes.
Okay. Okay. So now we're kind of caught up. I didn't want to talk about kind of what we're here for right out of the gate, but you want to talk about, there's a referendum on the upcoming ballot. Okay. I'm trying to get this right, where the voters are asked to decide, not essentially, they're asked to decide, period, whether or not this school is going to be built. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And there is a little bit of a, to me, it's a little bit, I did the numbers. Talk about, let's just say, should we bring Kathy in for this?
Yes, please.
Okay.
This is the dollar number.
Okay, she's the business manager. Talk about, let's just say, I don't know what an average salary is. I'm going to use $60,000 because I know people that make far less than that. I know people that make far more. For a person making $60,000, have you been able to take a look at these numbers and how much additional annual tax money will they incur?
So the EIT will increase from 0.5% for the district side. It's 1% total for township and a school district, and that will increase to 1.6% if the EIT referendum were to pass. So if that would happen, then the EIT at 1.6 is, let's say, $960 versus today, where the increase, the EIT is 1%, that's $600.
So $360.
Mm-hmm.
And let's do it this way. I didn't plan to do this, but I will.
Yeah.
Under $7 a paycheck if you get paid per week.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, $6.92. Okay, and now let's just be clear about this. Some people think that's a big deal, and I respect if they do. Okay, other people think I want to contribute to the education of the kids in my community, whether or not they have children. I know I'm a resident of a township, of a school district that it's not all that dissimilar to yours. Okay, They have the same issues. They probably make close to the same amount of money. Some people hate taxes. Some people don't mind them so much. So you're dealing with all different kinds of people and with all different kinds of opinions and attitudes there. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
What do you say? What do you say to somebody who's, I mean, some people you're not going to change their mind. Okay. We know that. That's life. That's life of human beings. But what do you say to somebody who's on the fence? You know, I want to support a new school because I don't want the kids learning in trailers. But I'm not sure if it's worth the $6.92 a paycheck. Who wants to take this? And what do you say to that person?
Well, do either of you want to take this question?
I mean, I feel like all three of us would probably have the biased opinion that an investment for children is a good investment. And if that's an investment that we're able to make at this capacity, then we would probably want to encourage people to consider making that investment for not only the learners in our district, the children in our district, but it also, I mean, a new school within a district adds to the value of the district at large. And I would just say, you know, maybe an investment in your per pay, whatever it might be, could be perceived as a good investment to make for the future of the community and the kids that live there.
That's a great answer. You know,
Yeah.
it's your community and it's your school district on top of that. I mean, there's a lot there. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, the other way you can look at it is someone on the panel here tonight might be able to answer it. If they turn down the referendum, what's life in the district going to look like?
Good
We already
question.
talked about the trailers, but
Ooh.
what's the downside to all this? But you don't get the tax hike.
So the downside, I can speak to that one. The downside of all of this is that we continue to have overcrowded classrooms. As Dr. Martin said, we literally have children and staff in hallways.
Mhm.
We have people in closets. We have teachers who don't have classrooms on carts. That is not a way to improve academic performance. It is not a way to send a message to children that as a community we care about their learning environment. It's just not a way to actually improve the overall perception of our community. What parent wants to move their children into a district where you're struggling even physically in those facilities?
Right.
So, to Dr. Martin's point, it improves the community.
Yeah, and that's important. I had one follow-up question. I might have just escaped me.
Well,
I
let me
played
ask
golf.
one, and Bill, you're up next.
Okay.
If you want to be, how are projects like this typically funded? Why does this turn into a referendum? Why does the school board just not get to vote on this and pass it or not pass it and get an approval that way?
Oh, Kathy, you take this one. This is a good answer. I love this one.
Sure. So we chose EIT over real estate taxes is because the way the tax structure works in school funding is that the majority of the funding, the revenues come from local taxpayers. And primarily that's real estate owners, right? So anyone who owns property within the district. And so we felt that EIT would lessen the burden on the property owners. And that is why we chose EIT. There could be an option of going to increasing the real estate taxes, but we would need to consider increasing real estate taxes beyond the amount that we need. And Pennsylvania has an Act 1 index that prohibits us from increasing real estate taxes above a certain amount, and that index is established on an annual basis.
Yeah.
So you're
That'd be-
saying you can't ask for the amount that you would need. You would have to ask for more money if you would.
It would, right, it would end up as a tax referendum question.
Okay.
So
Right.
it's either EIT or a real estate tax referendum.
Okay. Bill, did you remember?
Yeah, I figured out what I was going to ask because I mentioned before we go on the air that now Central Dauphin School District is facing an influx of students, and some of the early concerns is that they didn't have a lot of time to work on this. That the communication between the township and the developer and the school district didn't happen until recently. Some are saying.
So they're kind of
And
scrambling, the school
scrambling,
district, to
mentally,
catch up
at
and figure out what's going on, what they
Yeah,
have to
there's
be
a little bit of
prepared for.
panic in the school district at this point, for whatever reason. We're not going to point fingers. So I'm just wondering, in this scenario with Susquehanna Township, how long of a lead time have you actually been working on this?
Oh, wow. So we've been working on this, believe it or not, for 8 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
When I became superintendent in 2017, I was the superintendent that brought the trailers.
Okay.
And so we were starting to see the bubble coming up through our K2 building. And we knew at that point our class sizes were growing. We didn't know they were going to explode to this point. But we soon filled the trailers that we housed, and we had to add additional trailers. And so now we don't have space on any of our sites to place any more trailers. So that would be
Okay.
K2 and our 3-5 buildings. So we've been trying to get the 42 acres at Stanley Drive since I took the seat as superintendent. It took an act of legislation this year in order for us to purchase that property, but we've been looking to purchase it for a good 7 years.
What kind of legislation? What kind of legislation did you need to get in place?
So the property was deeded through an act of legislation
Okay.
to the Harrisburg City School District back in 1973.
Okay.
And so we had to go through the legislation to say it was the governor had to sign off to say it was okay for the property to now be sold to us.
Okay.
So we've been working on this for a good 8 years. It's been almost a decade now. And we've
So
been
the-
working with our township since I took the seat as well.
So the Band-Aid so far has been the trailers. Is that
Correct. We did not
okay.
just come up with this idea. We've been looking for property. We've been visiting office buildings. Not every office building can be converted into a school for a number of reasons. So we've been at this for a while now.
And didn't the district just buy a building, an office building?
We did. So we
Okay.
purchased Deer Path, and we were able to purchase that building because if you go take a look at it, there's glass all the way around it on every floor. It's very expensive to try to punch holes into the side of a brick building.
Is that
bring
1800
natural-
Lingelstown Road?
It is, yes, it is very expensive to
Okay.
convert a building. And so we were able to use that building to offset some of the overcrowding, but it's not a long-term solution. And we're actually going to use that property to expand some of our programs that can generate revenue.
Right.
Okay.
And it's an investment, no matter
It is.
what. Yeah, real estate's, and I'm not telling anybody what they don't
Yep.
already know, but
Yep.
it's
So-
always a good investment. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, with that building, you said it's not a long-term solution. What's preventing it from adding significant classroom space?
Well, we can only fit 2 grade levels in that building. And if you remember, so we're still going to have trailers. We'll still
Okay.
have trailers in the district, even with the Deer Path property. And so we still need space to get those students out of the trailers at our Sarah Lindemuth building. So our new building will actually hold 3 grade levels so that we can remove a grade level from the other buildings, giving us the space to grow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have 2 more questions, and I think
Sure.
these questions are going to be for Kathy and Dr. Martin, actually.
Good.
These are questions that I was on a thread today, or like the thread that I used to promote the show tonight. And there were a lot of people were against this, and a lot of those people were. So I promised them that I said, look, I can't squeeze in all your questions, but there's a couple that seem to keep ringing over and over.
Mhm.
And the first one is that there are, and I think I did see some of these. There are yard signs that I guess they say something like vote yes for the referendum or something along those lines. And there is concern from community members that they weren't purchased, let's just say on the up and up, like they were purchased by the district is what people think or are saying, and that's not legal. Kathy, could you speak about that, how these were purchased, and kind of like, let these people rest assured that there wasn't anything underhanded or illegal involved in purchasing these signs?
So let me first say that the signs were not purchased by the district.
Okay.
They were actually purchased by private donors. The district did receive the invoice, but once we told them that it was not going to be purchased that the district wasn't going to pay for the signs, they reissued the invoice to the private individuals.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And you tell me that, I believe you for sure. I think it'd be too easy if it wasn't the case. If what you said isn't accurate, it'd be too easy to
Correct.
prove that it's not accurate.
Right.
So, yeah. And I think that probably in order to place that order, you had to probably put it in the district's name. Is that what you're saying? Even though it wasn't the district's money?
So I can jump in here if you don't.
Okay, go ahead.
Because Kathy's kind of new in the position, but I was
Okay.
here when it happened. So the district initially ordered the signs, and then we started talking to the Board of Elections. Jerry Feeser is a guy that lives in our district, but he used to work for the Board of Elections. So we started talking to them about what we could purchase and what we could not purchase. And so when we were working with our attorneys and we noted that the vote yes could be perceived as advocating or campaigning, either
Right.
for either side of a vote, we told GrafTech that the district could not pay for them. They reissued that invoice and private donors paid for it. So the invoice was reissued. So this all came about because of a right to know that was filed. And the right to know pulled up emails related to GrafTech. And early on, there were invoices that reflected the cost for those signs.
Mhm.
But what the right to know did not show because it was no longer in our hands. So that private donors actually paid for them. It did not come from the district.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. So let's bring Dr. Martin in for this, the drum roll question. Other struggles in the district. I mean, they're not unlike a lot of other districts, but you know, there was people talking today about some low test scores, just to kind of like the overall quality of the education that a Susquehanna Township School District student is getting. Can you talk about where things stand now and what your vision moving forward is for the kids that are going through your doors and you know, gonna walk with a one of these days across the stage and get a degree?
So, you know, I'm in the second year of my role. I'm in charge of curriculum and instruction. The vision is to have an aligned curriculum that we're using K through 12. We've made a significant investment in the power of people. We brought on 8 additional staff members, which sole purpose is to provide smaller group instruction and interventions to some of our struggling learners. I will say that we are doing that in spaces that are not created in the most best conditions.
Mhm.
I never want to seem like what I say as facts as offer an excuse, but we do have a ton of challenges, including space, including some of the over volume that we have within our district that does create an issue. But in my role, I've worked very diligently with our teaching staff, which I commend on a daily basis on the job that they do and the resources that they're provided to do it in and the space that they're provided to do it in. And I do think some things are being put in place currently in order to meet the needs of our learners, meet the needs of our diverse learning community at large. So I definitely think the number one step to that, we had a conversation at the end of last year with Dr. Willis, and she asked me straight up, like, what do we need? What do we need to best service our kids? And don't say space. You know, she said, and don't say space because we don't have it. You know,
Right.
I said, well, you know what? We need to get some bodies in here. We need to make a significant investment in surrounding our learners the best we can with the people that can support the needs that their data is showing us that they have. And we have taken a very large step in that direction. And I'm happy to see that. So in due time, we'll get the systems in place. The systems are in place, but we have the people in place now that can operate a system as best as possible under the conditions that we're under right now.
Right.
And I
Okay.
can say that with great confidence.
Great.
We don't
Thank
shy
you.
away from what our academic data is or has been or what it once was and what it is now, but we are tackling the problems at hand as best as we can with what we have.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and your struggles again are not unlike struggles in a lot of other districts. I mean, we've had educators on here. We've had Eric Terman from Central Dauphin. We've had school board members who, let's face it, they're involved in, you know, maybe not, they don't have their hands on like you guys do, but and the struggles are very similar no matter where you go. So anyway, let's finish with this. Hannah football, Dr. Willis. They're 9-0 under my friend Joe Heaton, Coach Joe Heaton. Is there kind of a buzz in the whole district and the whole community?
Okay, yes, we are excited. Now, I am also going to pivot to, because Dr. Martin, this is like his thing. He's also over at our athletic department too.
Oh, okay.
But I will tell you, we are super excited for this team this year. We have great hopes for them. We are pleased that they just won their conference, excited about that. We are hoping that they will not just make it to the playoffs, but that they will excel this year. So I'm going to shut up because I know Dr. Martin has his own ideas, because this is
what do you want to tell us about this football team, Dr. Martin?
Go
Let me
ahead,
tell you,
Dr.
I've been in the district for about 16 years. I've seen some of our, the Ben Dupree, the Ben Mosers come through. I said this to this group directly. I've said it to the coaching staff. This is a very special group. They have everything that's needed to do what they've done so far and extend it a little more. This team has the potential to really make some noise if they can come together and reach the potential that they have within all of them. We have great leadership. I actually really want this for our community. I want it for Joe. He's a good coach, man. He's been doing it a very long time, and I'm hoping that this is the year that we could capitalize on not only the the potential that we have in the players. We got a solid quarterback, good receiving core, good line. We have everything that you need to be special in the playoffs. So
Thank you.
I have big hopes and aspirations for them, and I think that this is the year that they're going to be able to answer the bell.
As do I.
Yeah.
I've been to this high school a few times now. I cover high school sports with Linglestown Gazette Sports, and we have a Player of the Week award. We award the these nice T-shirts to the kids, and you've had at least 3, maybe 4 Players of the Week. So
Yeah.
that's just a testament to how good your players are.
It's one of those groups that you don't see too often.
It really is.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dr. Andre Martin, Susquehanna Township Assistant Superintendent.
Yes.
Our new friend is Kathy Chichuli, and she is the Susquehanna Township School District, of course, business manager, relatively new. And then our old friend, Dr. Tamara Willis, the superintendent of the district. We really appreciate you guys coming on.
Thank you for having us again. We appreciate you.
I wish you well with this and everything else. I mean, there's, whatever's going on right now, I hope that you guys, meet it and excel, get through it and keep it about the kids. It's about the kids. We know that.
Yes.
Yep. Bill, anything? Yep. All right. Well, we're going to bump you out. Bill, you want to say anything?
No, and I know you, Dr. Willis, you had talked a little bit about Linglestown Gazette, maybe helping you out. So we'll have to talk sometime about that. That's still on the to-do list, I hope.
It is. I'm going to have Anne Marie reach out to you.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good night.
Bye.
All righty. Okay. So now let's bring in Dave Doyle. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, you're welcome.
We couldn't, that kind of stuff, that's probably right in your wheelhouse, right? I mean, you're very familiar with education.
Oh, very much.
Yeah. So, and there's sometimes some behind the scenes things that a lot of people don't, really have a grasp on. And hopefully there were some people that I promoted, advertised the show tonight that you were coming in second. So I'm hoping some of the people that were coming in to watch you also came in early and watched that, because that's important stuff, So you know what? Here's something interesting. The only 2 people that we've had, the only recurring guests we've had, Bill, so far. Okay. Dr. Tamara Willis and Dave Doyle.
Okay, there we go.
You're the only 2 that have been on 2 shows now. So, anyway, Dave, you are the Lower Paxton Historical Commission Chair, correct?
That's correct, yes.
And Bill, thank you for joining us. Kind of an 11th hour ad, I guess we'll say. I only called you a few hours ago and you were like, yeah, I'll come on. And this was, okay, Christy Kessler. Hi, Dave. Keep it straight.
See, I can't get away with anything.
No, you can't. They know where you are.
Yes, they do.
This was, Bill called me today because I called Bill yesterday. I said, I don't think that Dr. Willis and it will be taking up the entire show. I said, if you can think of somebody fun or interesting, think about it. And he called me today and he said, why don't we call Dave Doyle? Because there is a, let's call it a building. It's an old home in the township.
A fort,
as it were.
Yes.
That it looks like we maybe coming to the end of the line with it. Is that correct, Dave?
Yes, unfortunately, we knew that it was slated, but we didn't know for when. And I just got word yesterday that they're looking, most likely it'll come down in 2 to 3 weeks.
Is this
we should actually identify where this building's at.
Well, let's show people what it looks like. And I said during the introduction, Dave, I'm sure you heard me, that some people have driven by this. I know for a fact, because I know people personally, they have no clue where this is, and they've driven by it hundreds of times.
Yeah, that's not its current state. When was this, Dave?
Oh, no, that's pretty much right now.
Is that the back of the building?
No, that's actually the front.
Okay.
That's the back.
Okay.
And that picture would have been taken a long time ago because that porch is no longer there, and definitely the firewood is no longer there.
Now, what is this? Is this the side or
that's
part of the back?
That is the far eastern back side. And when I was there a couple of weeks ago, that was completely overgrown. Like you wouldn't even be able to see into those windows. Now I think somebody came in and cleared that a little bit, but yeah, that's the back.
Yeah, and for people who don't know, this is on Lingelstown Road, pretty much across from the Weiss store.
Right, right.
Yes.
I kind of think I kind of allowed things to get ahead of ourselves. I think, Dave, talk about what is that house? What is that building there?
Well, even though it looks a little bit like a Leave It to Beaver house,
Mhm.
underneath all that is our logs, and that was built by James Gilchrist back in the 1740s. Gilchrist owned a lot of land, and he had a family. Two of his sons served in the Revolutionary War. So the reason why it's called a fort, because this is a debate that we keep going back and forth, whether or not it was just a fortified home or truly a fort. Because when we look at forts, we're thinking of something with a militia. But what it was definitely was a safe haven, just in case there was a Native American raid. The people from the surrounding area would come and stay there as a safe haven, because it was quite a thick built house. Has a lot of history, and even prior to that, probably back in the 1600s, etc., the Native Americans most likely encamped on that land. And then there was a famous Native American that actually helped warn the settlers, and his name was Joe Gilloway.
I don't think it was Joe Gilloway.
Yeah.
Did you camp there, Joe, or what?
No.
It was actually Joe Goodaway.
That's close. That is close, Dave.
Yeah, it really is. So you better watch out. I mean, and we know from documents that he was buried somewhere near the old sycamore tree, which is just east of that property.
Yeah.
So is he close to the fort? Is he out on Lingelstown Road or one of those houses? So I'm hoping when they're tearing this down that there's some care taken, that anything that gets unearthed can be preserved or respected.
Okay.
I
Bill, go
got a
ahead. You
question
jump in.
from a reader today about this. They're wondering why the current owner has decided to demolish the building. Do you have any idea?
Well, unfortunately, I mean, the current owner just purchased it not too long ago. Prior to that, it was owned by the Sabocek family, and they're more interested in the land than really the building. It was the last time it was actually used that I know of was back in the 1980s by an accounting firm.
Okay.
And prior to that, it was a single family residence, all the way back to the original inhabitants. But it sat still since with nobody in it since the probably the late 1980s.
Wow.
And Mother Nature just took over, and it got ahead of them. And again, I don't think they had a real interest in, or even maybe they didn't even have the knowledge of the historical structure. We tried to explain that, but at that point, it was probably a little too late.
Do you have any idea what's going to become of the property? Is it going to be used for a commercial use or something else? Do you know?
The dentist office owns it. My guess is they're going to clear it and then sell the land, because I think it's sold for around $1,275,000, and guaranteed that's not for the value of the house; it's the value of the land that was there.
Right.
Now, keeping in mind they're going to be fairly limited, because just not too far south of the property are wetlands that they would be able to build on.
Is there a steep slope back there too?
No, it's not in that area. It's just there's more of a steep slope coming towards it than there is going away from it.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
I can't picture that, but that's okay. That's no problem. Okay,
So-
so you're not really sure if there's going to be anything built there or not. Is that true at this
That's
point?
true. Yeah, because
Okay.
I don't know if the dentist office will want to use it to expand their office, or just put a commercial property of some sort on it.
So the dentist's office is just east of what the open space there, other than the old garage and the house. That where you're talking about the dentist's office? Is that's where that's at?
Exactly right. Yes.
Okay. All right.
So this house was built 36 years before we became a free nation, before the Declaration of Independence, right, Dave?
That's right. And
That always blows me away, man. You know, when that's almost 4 decades before we became a country.
and technically it was Lancaster County at the time.
Is that right?
Yeah. Because, I think Dauphin was 1754, 1758 in there. But prior to that this was Lancaster County.
So talk about this. What else what we would be familiar with in the township, in Lower Paxton Township, is that old, that's still standing, that we can say, oh yeah, I've driven by that place? Or are there, how many, are there just a handful? Are there any?
There's the only other one that I know of that would be from the colonial period would be Sandy Prawl's house, which was off of Colonial Road.
Yeah.
And I personally have never seen it. You can't see it from the road. But that would have been colonial time period. But this is definitely one of the earliest. Now, near the Sheets, right by Gilcrest, there was Gilcrest built a school, and it's a brick house now, but there's still the school bell and such is on there. But that, of course, doesn't go back that far. But the only other one that would be close to that then would be the restaurant right there on Colonial Road and Linglestown Road, Greystone.
Okay.
Okay.
That would have been one of that wouldn't be as old as this, but it's definitely dating back in that era.
What about in the Linglestown area? I think I read or saw something. There was the home that Thomas Lingle lived in. Is that still standing down? What road would that be? Blue Mountain Parkway. I don't know. I don't know if I'm right or not.
With the exposed logs.
Yeah,
Exposed logs. Yeah.
the one that the attorney lives in now.
Absolutely. Yes.
That property, if I'm not mistaken, was actually moved from a location to that place. And I've been in that, but I'm not sure. Right off my head, I'm not sure the time period for that.
So is this the one where we're going down Blue Mountain Parkway? You're approaching the entrance of Blue Meadows Farm. It's right there on the corner on the right side as you're heading towards the mountain. And
I'm
trees
thinking
around
you're
it.
talking about the one right on Linglestown Road.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
the one on
Like the exposed logs there.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah, the one on Linglestown Road is the one that was moved. The one that Bill's talking about would be the property of Thomas Lingle.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know how much of that, possibly all of it, but I don't know how much of it is truly original.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
Dave, can I throw a few more photos up? We already saw, let's just go through these very quickly because we already looked at those. Looks like it's probably maybe the basement. I'm not
That's
sure.
in the basement. And if you look, you see how deep the window wells are. I mean, it was thick, and that's all at that level. It's all stone.
Wow.
And then right above, I think that's a pipe that's in that picture, but right above that are timbers. And go on to your next picture. But yeah, that's in the basement.
I have these.
That's okay. So that originally, when Joe Murphy and I went in like 2018, we couldn't see any of the original logs because there was a wall there. But now that as things are knowing they're being torn down, some of the walls have been cut open a little bit, getting rid of the old plaster like that, and you're able to see those are the original logs for the log cabin.
Old wood.
Oh my God. And you're talking, I mean, it's probably either oak or a chestnut, because chestnut was very dominant in the area, but they're solid. I mean, they are absolutely solid.
And
Now
that's the last one I have.
that's up in the attic, and that's newer. We are guessing that was added on maybe around the 1860s, around the time of the Civil War. But the interesting thing is, and unfortunately, you probably can't see it in this picture, everything is put together by pegs. So it's really an old piece. And
I can see it.
And another interesting thing that we found up in that attic, as soon as you're coming up the steps to get into that part, on the floor was I'm 100% convinced it's a witch's mark, which was just like a couple lines and another line through it. And that was put in the houses to ward off bad spirits and witches and such.
Okay.
But it's odd that it was up in the attic like that.
So
But,
let me ask you this, and then I'll let Bill take back over, because we're gonna segue to another area of the township that Bill has a special place in Bill's heart. I know, at least for now, it does. But okay, you're not only a historian, Dave, but you're a Lower Paxton Township historian, of course. Does this sadden you that this building's going to be razed? It's going to be going away.
it's horrible. I mean,
Okay, I don't even know how to ask you, but
mean,
it kind of seems like this would kind of be like kind of almost devastating.
you know, and it's definitely like swimming up a very strong current, because there's no way that we could have done anything as the commission, because we're basically at zero budget.
1.2 million would have probably solved that problem, right?
Yeah, because not only the 1.2 to buy it, figure another million just to get it back to
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, great point.
yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, it's extremely sad. It's exciting to be able to go in and I can say that I touched history, but
Yeah.
it's going to be gone. Now, we took a couple of things. The owner allowed us to take like the pot holder that would swivel out from the big fireplace, and so at least we have that. And I grabbed a pair of shutters. Now, they wouldn't be as old, but that pot holder, I would love to get that dated, because that and pictures might be the last things we have of this place.
Wow. Okay. And let's take so that's the I think we addressed what we wanted to address there. And again, I'm sorry to see that this is happening here with the Gilchrist house or Fort Gilchrist. Let's kind of take a hard right turn, Bill, and I'm going to let you kind of lead off here to Newside Cemetery.
Yeah.
We talk about Newside Cemetery, Bill and I, and I know that it's something that you care about, Bill. So do you want to kind of take the lead and ask Dave anything?
Well, yeah, I've
about
been
that?
helping Jay and the commission, I guess, indirectly get information out on Lingostown Gazette's Facebook page. But the one mystery it's a mystery to me, Dave, is exactly, I haven't put eyes on this thing yet. So if I'm going down Union Deposit Road from the highway, or what is it, 83?
Okay.
Heading
So you're
out
heading east.
towards CD East. Where would I go to find this?
So when you come to the stoplight where Rutherford Road intersects, and the bus barn would be
Turkey Hill's right there.
Yeah.
exactly. If you made a right-hand turn right there,
Okay.
you'll go around a real sharp turn. As soon as you go around that real sharp turn, look up to your left,
Okay.
and you'll see a black fence,
Right.
and that is part of the cemetery, though that there's nobody buried within that fence.
Okay. Yeah. It looks like the fence is almost hanging on the edge of a steep slope going down to the road. It's like hanging there almost. I mean, was that because of the road construction?
Yes, they actually widened the road because they widened the road a number of years ago. And prior to that, there was an old wooden staircase that went up from the road up to the that fenced in area.
Yeah, and I've seen pictures for years now. I believe the American Legion in Lingelstown, Post 272, they go out there Memorial Day and shoot their rifle crew. I don't know all the terms, but Memorial Day, they do something there.
They do the 21 gun salute and blow taps. Yep.
Yep. And help people understand, I guess, the importance of this. And secondly, how it's being built into the 250th anniversary of our country.
Would love to. So we were asked beginning of this year if we could come up with something that dealt with the 250th. Well, the interesting part is the Revolutionary War, of course, was a little bit before Independence Day because that's how we got there.
Yeah.
But there weren't. That's the main thing that people think of when they're thinking about the 1776, and there were no battles in Lower Paxton, or at that time Paxton. However, there's 3 cemeteries that hold veterans that fought in the Revolutionary War,
Right.
and this being one of them. And back in in 2007, Jay Purdy and I, along with a couple others, went to the township, and we got them to take ownership of that fenced-in area. And when we were asked what we could do, I wanted to continue on that. So we had a couple major hurdles. One, it was completely overgrown.
Yeah.
You couldn't even barely walk into it. We've cleared all that out. We had a volunteer, Jerry, came in with ground penetrating radar. We've located what we believe to be 48 graves. And those graves are not only Revolutionary War soldiers, they're people they're soldiers that fought in the War of 1812, the French and Indian War, along with some of our original settlers in this area. And that is actual history. I mean, that's their final resting ground.
Okay.
And the reason it got its name Newside was because it broke away from the Presbyterian Church in Paxtang. And that was the old side. This became the new side.
Okay.
And so right now, what we're working on, we have it cleared. We just had an arborist there this past weekend. We took down a lot of we'll call them dangerous trees, ones that were dying or diseased or dead. And so we got those cleared out. We have the markers down, just temporary markers. I am currently have been talking to a couple businesses because I want to erect a flagpole, and on that flagpole, it would be the American flag, and then under it, I'll call it the Betsy Ross flag with the 13 stars.
Okay.
I'm working on trying to get an engineer that'll design steps that'll go up, that'll still be in compliance with not only ADA, but also with state requirements because that's a state road.
Okay.
And the other thing we want to do is put a plaque up. And then that plaque would have like a QR code so we can keep it alive as we're finding information on it. Then eventually, in May 16th, we want to do a rededication and then eventually put a fence around the whole cemetery that would be kind of like that black fence that you see right now, but it would always be open to the public to go up and pay respect.
Yeah. Now you said that the township purchased that smaller area that's fenced in now. So the area where the graves are, does the township own that as well, or did you have to go work through another owner?
The PMI owns that, and we were able to get them to donate the land that's fenced in, and I will be going. I'll be going in front of the board probably later this year, beginning of next year, and doing my dog and pony act to try to get them, because PMI is willing to donate it. And this so far, we've spent 0 tax dollars.
Okay.
Everything we've done has been on our own. But the one expense that'll happen, PMI said that if we do this, the township would need to pay the legal fee to, for the deed transfer.
Okay. I just have one more question, Joe. I'm just interested.
No, that's okay. That's what we're here
talking
for.
about- We're
Yeah,
talking about
sure.
Revolutionary War and
Absolutely.
wars past. Did Lower Paxton, or you said it was Paxton at the time, have a militia or any group that emanated from here that went to fight?
Oh yeah, a number of the soldiers. Even John Harris from Harrisburg, left his store. It's not the correct word. I just can't think of it at the moment. With
Like a trading post.
for a trading post. Thank you. Yes.
Very good, Bill.
And took money down to Philadelphia, to help. Around this area, they would have joined different militias. Most likely, they formed here and then went to places like Philadelphia or wherever needed. Now, the interesting thing is that if I have just a couple minutes to explain this.
Sure.
Okay, so we have the Paxton Rangers, we have the Paxton Boys. Okay, the Paxton Rangers were brought on by the king and paid by the King of England to basically protect the settlers in this area.
Okay.
The Paxton Boys were more of like their own little militia who technically got fired up by the minister at the Paxton Presbyterian, and went out and they would attack Indians, the Native Americans, and they were brutal. They were very brutal. But the interesting thing is, a lot of those Paxton Boys ended up joining the Continental Army or militia of some sort, and so they kind of went from zero to hero. And we have at least one of those buried. I don't have his name, but that we know that is buried over at Newside.
Now, with the Paxton Boys, is it right?
Mhm.
Paxton Boys, is that right?
Yes, Paxton
Okay.
Boys.
I just in hearing scuttlebutt around town that they were based somehow in Piketown. Is that true?
I knew that they congregated in what's now Paxtang, but I'm not sure if they had a set place. I will research it. I'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've heard Piketown thrown into the mix on this stuff, but that's sketchy information.
Yeah, you could be 100% correct. I'll get back to you.
All right, Dave. Thank you.
Well, I think I said this when you were on the first time. We can make this recurring.
As new things come up. Sure.
There's always going to be something on your end, Dave, historical, and we do a lot of Lower Paxton stuff. That's almost exclusively.
Well, the other thing is, because I know at some point you're going to go into a fundraising mode. I'd love to have you on when you start that, so you can explain what the money's going to go toward and all that kind of thing.
Why don't we commit to doing that, Bill?
Yeah.
We would love it. We'll take any publicity we can get, because again, we're trying to keep taxpayer dollars out of it.
And see, when we do that show, Dave, I have the ability to just take that segment, and give it to you, so you can spread it out.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, we can do that for you.
Excellent.
All right. Okay, you want to stick with us while we wind things down here, Dave? Thank our sponsors and thank our first guests and all that.
Sure will.
So let's thank Dave Doyle first from the Lower Paxton Historical Commission. Your father was my civics teacher in 9th grade. Okay. And first of all, he was impactful. I liked him a lot. He did a great job. He was an awesome teacher. I'm sure you've heard that ad nauseum over the years. But I was in his classroom when they found out that President Reagan had been shot. And I remember, that he ran out in the hall and he got one of those carts with like a 27-inch. It was a color TV back then. And, he was on the move. He went out, Mr. Doyle went out, got the cart, plugged in the TV, and told everybody, hey, and, explain what was going on. And that's where I sat. And I think that we remember stuff like that. It's kind of indelible. A lot of times when people were killed or died. And that's where I was in Mr. Doyle's eighth grade, maybe, I don't know, 9th grade civics class at Central Dauphin East Junior High. So thank you. And we will stay in touch, Dave, and have you back on. Okay.
Thank you
So
much.
let's thank again our first guest, Dr. Tamara Willis. She's the Susquehanna Township School District Superintendent, along with her Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Andre Martin. Kathy Chichuli is the somewhat new business manager of the district, and they were great guests tonight. There is a referendum vote upcoming it's tied into funding a new school, which all signs seem to lead that they could probably use a new school. I'm trying to be neutral here, but we don't want kids in trailers, stuff like that, or kind of just crammed into rooms that don't have enough space for them. So I know I'm going to hear some crap about that, kind of taking sides and all that. But I just want our kids. They're our future, and I don't mean to be sentimental, but let's let them have as good of a learning experience as we can provide for them. So.
Hey, Joe, Susan George thanked Dave for keeping history alive. If you know Susan.
I see that. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then Christy Kessler chimed back in. Great job, Dave. It says, Christy, upcoming this Monday. John, let's try to get it right. Jean.
That's pretty close, Joe.
Yeah, that's probably as close as we're trying to get away from Najim, but I think it's okay either way. But he is one of the Lower Paxton Township supervisors. He's running for re-election on November 4th, and he's going to be on here this coming Monday, the 27th, followed by next Wednesday, a week from tonight, Dauphin County Commissioner Justin Douglas, who's running for PA State House, right?
No, the
Senate?
U.S. Rep.
Oh, U.S. Rep.
Yeah, U.S. Congress.
Okay.
Congress.
All right. Okay. Jane. Thank you, Susan. Susan just reminded me that's how his name's pronounced. John James.
I'm ready to start sort of a bet.
Yeah, we're all over the place here. I'm not closing this out too well, guys. And then Justin McShane, 2 Thursdays from tonight. So
okay.
Thank you, Dave. We really appreciate it. Thanks to our sponsors, the American Legion Post 272, Team PA AAU Basketball, and Rickabaz Electric. Bill, I will probably catch up with you sometime tomorrow.
All right, buddy. Sounds
Great
good.
show. Okay, have a good evening, fellas.
Good night.